Scientists believe that yoga and meditation are some of the best methods to improve your overall physical and mental health. Studies show that it can improve things like stress and anxiety, balance and flexibility, cardiovascular health, and your overall lifespan. COVID-19 has caused so many terrible things to happen to people in the last 9 months, stress and anxiety being one of the biggest issues. Columbia University recently conducted a study on stress and anxiety and the effects that meditation may have on them. The subjects in this study received meditation treatment, also known as mind-body treatment, and the results showed that it improved one's ability to cope with stressful life changes like COVID-19, as well as anxiety reduction. With all this information to take in, however, there have been so many myths said about yoga and meditation which aren't true, that discourage people from trying it in the first place. Hi, my name is Nicole Chauvin, and this episode is titled Yoga and Meditation Debunked. Today I'll be talking to some professionals to answer all of the unknown questions people have surrounding yoga and meditation in hopes that people no longer feel discouraged from trying them. When you think of yoga and meditation, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? People saying Om over and over again? Maybe a cult that you've seen on Netflix? Sadly, these are such wrong yet very, very popular conceptions of what the two can be. What discourages people so much about trying yoga, especially, is that you have to be flexible or some sort of acrobat in order to be quote-unquote good at it, when in reality, each person goes at their own pace and what they're comfortable with. Almost every single yoga studio that I've been to, and I know many people can attest to this, is that yoga is super, super personal and everyone goes at their own pace. There is no competition, you are only bettering yourself. You will never be forced to go any further than you need to in a class. We all start at our own pace, and the beautiful thing about practicing it is that the more and more that you do it, you will gradually become more flexible and more mindful over time. A very common misconception about meditation is people think that you have to be this sort of spiritual or religious individual in order to partake in it. While meditation can be practiced in many religious cultures, meditation is based on helping to reduce stress, and there is actually scientific evidence to prove that. Researchers have proven meditation's many benefits on a wide range of different patients. People like PTSD sufferers, individuals with high blood pressure, ADHD patients, and even cancer patients have experienced improvements from meditation. My first guest today is actually somebody that I work with. Her name is Susu, and she's the manager of Yoga Pod located right here in Tucson. She's been practicing yoga and meditation for 5 years now, and I would say that she knows the ropes of it all pretty well. Due to COVID-19 and scheduling conflicts, I was not able to get Susu's voice in this. However, I did get the chance to email her all the questions which I am going to be reading to you all. The first question I had for her was this: why did you get into yoga and meditation in the first place? Was it health related or just because? Her response was, I originally got into yoga because a friend referred me to do it with her after I got out of a very tough relationship that had lasted 5 years. My self-esteem was very low and my anxiety and stress were at an all-time high. At this point in my life, I was looking for anything that would help me. The place I went to was very non-judgmental, and they kept saying affirmations during the workout that made me feel so much better about myself. I could see that I wasn't alone in the way that I was feeling, and many people had their own issues going on with them as well. I felt so refreshed when it was over. After this, I continued to do yoga at that studio while also practicing mindfulness and meditation. In the span of 3 months, I felt like I'd grown more than I ever had in my entire life and loved it so much that I even decided to become an instructor. Now I focus on helping people who were just like me in that stressful situation a few years ago, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I thought this was very interesting of Susu to say because there are so many reasons that people get into it, and hers was very personal, so I really appreciated her vulnerability. After that question, I asked if there was ever anything she didn't quite understand about yoga or meditation at first, like maybe a misconception that was proved wrong. Her response to that question was this: I think there are many misconceptions to both of them. Before I started doing yoga, I thought you had to be this certain type of person to do it. What discouraged me the most was that I thought I had to be a certain weight, a health nut, or even like super flexible in order to do it, but that's so far from the truth. There's no certain type of person that you have to be in order to do it, and even the people that you don't ever think would do it end up doing it. For example, Joe Rogan, one of the most energetic and chaotic personalities in the celebrity world out there, talks so much on his podcast about how yoga has changed his life. Truth be told, you can be any age, weight, and body type to do any workout, especially yoga. People will not judge you, and that's the best part of it. When it comes to meditation, I think the biggest misconception is that it's only meant to reduce stress and anxiety. And while that is true, It's helped me with so many other things. One of the biggest takeaways I've gotten from meditation is that it allows me to get in touch with my awareness in life. We call this existential awareness in meditation. By this, I mean that it helped me realize so many amazing things that I have in my life right now, rather than the things that I do not. It helps remind me of my purpose here. And honestly, it helps me remind me that I am only human and it's okay to not be perfect. Susu had such great insight and testimonials about yoga and meditation, and I really appreciated her sharing some of her stories and thoughts. I've been working with Susu at that studio for almost an entire semester, and I never knew those things about her, so this was very fascinating to hear. I think she brought up some very interesting points about yoga and meditation that I hadn't really considered before, like why so many people get into it in the first place. There are so many different reasons as to why people get into it. For me, it was to reduce stress and help my overall flexibility and strength. I had terrible back issues that would not go away, and a friend recommended that I try yoga. 4 years later, the pain in my back has subsided dramatically, and I feel stronger than ever. Yoga has been found to help issues as serious as arthritis. The Arthritis Foundation states that yoga is proven to help people with arthritis improve many physical symptoms like pain and stiffness, and psychological issues like stress and anxiety. People with various types of arthritis who practice yoga regularly can reduce joint pain, improve joint flexibility and function, and lower stress and tension to promote better sleep. Yoga is enjoyable and bearable enough for people who have even the most severe body pains because, like I said earlier, you can go at whatever pace you want. After talking to a colleague like Susu, I wanted to use a more professional and scientific approach to the topic, and although I can't come in contact with an actual scientist about this at the moment, I found a great video on YouTube on the effects that yoga has on mental health issues, specifically stress and anxiety. I'm including a small excerpt from the video titled The Science of Yoga, where we listen to psychologist Michael DeManicore explain the benefits that yoga can have on the mind just by practicing it 12 minutes a day for 6 weeks.
So what I've been doing recently is research in the field of yoga for depression and anxiety disorders. The most significant result that we found was the reduction in measures of depression. So we compared the group of people who were doing the yoga practice, it was done over 6 weeks, and the control group was continuing with their regular treatment. And we saw a significant difference between the two groups. We saw a 33% reduction in the group of people who were doing the yoga practice. We saw a significant reduction in scores in anxiety, in overall psychological distress. We saw an increase in resilience. That's a really important measure in mental health. We saw increases in the frequency of positive experiences that people were reporting, and conversely, a reduction in the frequency of negative experiences. The average amount of yoga that people were doing was 12 minutes on a regular basis, most days of the week over 6 weeks. Probably the most important measures were the reduction of the depression and the anxiety scores, but each of the other measures gives us a much more overall picture of improvements in mental health.
Although this video focused primarily on yoga, meditation works to do the same as well. The facts in this video and study conducted were great takeaways in terms of the medical evidence behind yoga. One of the biggest takeaways I got from this video was that just 12 minutes did so much for some people, which is crazy. I think that yoga and meditation are wonderful ways for relieving not only the body, but the mind. So often our health officials tell us to turn to medication so quickly, when in fact there can be alternate ways to control our thoughts and emotions through things like yoga and meditation. Is it for everyone? Maybe not, but if it can help you, then why not give it a try? Yoga and meditation have even been proven to help individuals in addiction recovery. According to the American Addiction Center, yoga has many positive effects on the brain, specifically with helping people recover from substance abuse. They state that yoga and meditation are increasingly being used in substance abuse treatment programs and throughout recovery to help prevent relapse, reduce withdrawal symptoms and drug cravings, and provide a healthy outlet to cope with triggers and daily life stressors. I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to give a big shout out to Susu, who I interviewed as well. I hope that this podcast gave you a little bit more insight into the world of yoga and meditation, as there are so many things out there that are just not true about them. I will tell you what is true though. As somebody who has personally battled with physical and mental health issues in day to day life, yoga and meditation have been an outlet for me, and I have appreciated so much in terms of growth and overall wellness. It can be hard to start anything you are unsure of. However, you never know that you do or don't like something until you give it a try yourself. After this is over, I would like you all to take a deep breath, or two if you need it, and think of something that makes you happy. One of the best parts about yoga and meditation is that you practice mindfulness and appreciation. This small yet effective method has helped me get through some of my roughest days, and I have yoga and meditation to thank for that.